Oh, hi, Mark.
So just trying to, everything sound. Lately I've been fighting paranoid, so I've been sleeping with my Glock. At war in my city, I can't go, that's not an option. Who am I to ever tell my son that I ain't got it? Every day I gotta grind, no excuses, only profit. We just soldiers trying to survive the war. Never had much, so we only want more. And lately, I've been losing all of my pace. Streets getting colder, niggas dying over nades.
Why Ricky lose his son like that? He wasn't really into none of that, and they knew all that. That shit hit us like a ton of bricks. We'll never see him on Price shooting ball again. When that's all he ever did and carry cigs, regular kid. Caught him on a pull-up court, shot him in his head, that shit hit home like a motherfucker. I got a son and they was wrong than a motherfucker. Got his name on the wall, all the memory of him. Yeah, it's cold around here, but you gonna need some covers. Cops grab Quavo, charging for a homicide. Say he killed his homie when it's bad enough his homie died. We don't really think of reactions, we be active. I'm wishing I could rewind that day, and it never happened. I'm missing 23 like crazy, that was a bad one. And I know Quavo feeling the same.
I'm paranoid, so I've been sleeping with my Glock. At war in my city.
What's up, man? Hey, man. Good to see you, man. First and foremost, I want to start off by letting you know I appreciate you. You know what I mean? But let the people know your name.
James Bonner.
James Bond?
That's what you call me.
First and foremost, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? You know, we came a long way. We came a long way.
We did.
You know what I mean?
We did.
I'm going to start off like this. Let the people know exactly what they pay for when they get a defense attorney, as far as like taking out the fact that people might think the defense attorney, you could pay them and they still gonna work with the district attorney and try to sell you out / cut a deal.
Look, whenever you're hiring a defense attorney, from the jump, you have to always be prepared to negotiate a resolution. As you know, because we've been there together,
Right.
It's very difficult to have somebody else deciding what's happening in your case. So if there's a way that you can be comfortable with taking a deal, your defense attorney's always going to be putting you in the best position, if they know what they're doing,
Right.
to get the best deal possible. If the best deal possible isn't a good fit, then we don't take it.
Right.
When we hear things where people are saying that the defense attorneys and the DAs are working together, we don't work together in the sense that we're there to screw over clients or anything like that. What we have to understand is courtrooms and courthouses, that's basically our office. We go into there every day. We see the same people every day.
Right.
And they know who the DAs and the staff, they know who the people are that don't get along with people and they get treated a certain way. And they know who the people are that get along with people, and they get treated a certain way. So we have to go in there and do things cordially, because most of the time that's the best thing. But then what you're going to get when you're talking about the real defense attorneys that know how to put down these cases is how to handle it when you get in the courtroom.
Right.
When the blue man goes on, the microphone goes on, it's different. You still have to be cordial. You still have to be polite. As lawyers, we are required to do that. There's rules that govern lawyers, and it says that we have to be cordial and respectful to the other side, no matter how much we might agree with them.
Other side being?
Prosecutors.
Okay.
The judges.
Okay.
You know, you have to be mindful that, that it's adversarial, in the sense that we have different interests.
Right.
But that doesn't change where I'm trying to get to.
Right, okay. No doubt.
And just because you see me maybe shake somebody's hand or have a chat with them, that doesn't mean that I'm doing anything less for my client and all the lawyers in there.
Okay.
Everybody's got to get along because they're all in the same spot every day.
Right.
Otherwise,
Respect.
it'd be fighting. Nothing would ever get done.
Right. Okay. And that's a big point, and I think a lot of people needed to hear that / wanted to hear that. Now let's go into the financial part. You get what I'm saying? Let's just say, for example, you got a case where as though your number is 15,000, 10,000, 10 to 15,000, and the client and his family says they're going to pay the money or whatever the case may be, and you might want 2,500 for prelim. Let's just say they come up with 1,500 for prelim, and then they dragging along their feet to get the other 1,000, but then they do. Boom. So now the mind frame of you saying it took y'all long, or y'all didn't honor your word on the timing on the money for prelim. So now when you get to common pleas, you got what's that? Another 13,000 plus or something like that. Or my fault. If it's 10,000, it'll be 7,500 left. 85. If it's 15, it'll be
7,500 left. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 7,500 left. The point I'm trying to get to is the part where people slacking with the money, and the part where people, you want 2,500, I'm giving you 2,500. You want the 7,500 for common pleas, I'm giving you 7,500. If we talk about 10,000, let people know how big that is on your end, as far as the work that you're putting in, and the way they say, my lawyer bullshit, he ain't calling my folks back, he ain't answering the phone, and he ain't come see me. Like, let them know where your motivation is, come into play at with that.
When you have problems making payments,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't follow through with what you say you were going to do, or you just don't meet it, that creates a problem with whoever's getting represented.
Mm-hmm.
When you see people like lawyers, when it gets to be to a point where you can't represent somebody anymore, it's because we made an agreement for X amount to do this case.
Right.
That means that my client thinks that I'm worth that amount to handle this case and do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not going to bring that to me, despite the fact that I worked with them and said, hey, you can pay this over time,
mm-hmm.
that says to me that that client does not value my services.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't respect what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And further, it means that I have to spend time, or whatever lawyer it is, I have to spend time calling you, asking where the money is, figuring out how I'm going to get what I need to get, what was agreed to in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a waste of my time.
Okay.
And a waste of your time.
Right. 100%.
Because if I'm spending that time talking to you, trying to get the money to pay the bills, that's time that I could spend on your case or somebody else's cases.
Right.
And lawyers, all we have to sell is our time. You come to me because you want me.
Mm-hmm.
You go to another lawyer for a different type of case because you want that lawyer for that type of case. But I only have so much time in the day. So I can only handle so many cases.
Right.
So if I'm taking yours, it means I might have to say no to somebody else.
Right. Okay.
So if you don't respect the time and you don't respect the agreement, that makes it difficult for the lawyers to want to continue to work with you on that type of thing.
Okay. So now, say, for example, I don't got no case, you get what I'm saying, but I'm just putting money, retaining from the rep. Let's just say I'm putting money into your office, and I just need you to have my back because me personally, I'm going to just say I had bad past experience with cops as far as, being lied to. You can go from not doing nothing to end up with a case just because they got the confidence that if they do put it on you for whatever reason, it's no way out for you. You know what I'm saying? As far as they understand, we're speaking on Delaware County, and I'm speaking for just Chester alone. They got the confidence that 9 times out of 10, a lot of people not in tune with lawyers, don't take the lawyers serious, or don't have no bond with the lawyers. So I'll be suggesting that if you is in the streets, build a bond with you guys now. You know what I'm saying? Start paying some money now if you is in the streets. You get what I'm saying? So let's just, example purposes, a person coming here and they give you $2,000 one day, they give you $3,000 the next week or monthly, whatever. And he wants to be your client. Like he wants to know, so in a small amount of time, he might have, I don't know, it could take a year. But anyway, he had about 10, 15,000 in your office already. You get what I'm saying? And he also letting you know, like, man, this is just for me or somebody that might be close to me that might need your services. How did that play on your motivation?
Look, it's always better to have a relationship with the client, right? As opposed to being like transactional.
Right.
A lot of people, especially when you're talking about like lesser cases, lower level cases, they're just as important. Some of these DUIs and stuff, you can lose your driver's license. That means you can't work, things like that. Those are all things people think they're sort of transactional. You come in, the lawyer's going to do this, boom, done.
Right.
You and I know.
Right.
That, and quite frankly, in the cases that we've been involved in, the more that we talked about it, it became mutually productive.
Right.
You're telling me things, there's two different views on everything. If there's two guys in the room, if there's 10 people in the room, they're all going to look at something differently.
Right.
And it's always good to have different perceptions and ideas about whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
So if you have a relationship with your lawyer to where you can discuss things freely, and you feel like you can be open with them, as opposed to, I need to maybe not say certain things around my lawyer because I don't really know who he is, I don't know who he's running with, all that sort of thing.
Right.
Because we get a lot where in the beginning, our clients, they don't trust necessarily, or they don't want to tell us everything because they're worried either what we might think, what we might do with that information. Getting everything out on the table as early as possible is always the best thing for this relationship between attorneys and clients.
Right.
So if you have the ability to do that, or you have a need for a lawyer to be on retainer, and you have questions about things or whatever it is, for whatever, business related issues, those are big things where people are on retainer constantly, and you're calling up your lawyer here and there based off different issues. Those are all good things, and you're developing a rapport with that attorney so that you can trust them.
Right. And would you say you'll go above and beyond for like your client versus, like, I'm just saying, like, as far as like above and beyond, meaning way past the money that you might have charged them, versus somebody getting locked up and trying to hire you and you meeting them that way, and the communication ain't as strong because you just meeting them, you know what I mean, and with your client, which would be somebody that the same way you working hard for me, I'm working hard for you, as far as making sure the money there, I'm not wasting your time, I'm being straightforward with you, and then I can trust you. So is it a difference between that?
I think that you kind of link these two topics together pretty well, where you first asked, about payment plans and being slow with the money and all that sort of thing. Look, if you're doing your job, I'm doing mine, right?
Okay.
And certain lawyers are going to kind of phone it in easy. You get different experiences with different people.
Right.
Different lawyers do things differently.
Okay.
Right? But having that relationship is always going to be beneficial to you as you're moving along in your case.
Okay.
Because this only works if there's a free exchange of information between the client and the lawyer.
Right.
Right? If you're not telling me things that I need to know or that I might need to know, that makes it harder for me to do my job.
Right.
I've had cases where we're in the middle of it, and then you're finally getting the full story about everything.
Right.
I would much rather have that information way ahead of time than in the moment, because maybe I can prepare for it differently. Right. We're always ready for that, but if you can bridge that gap sooner, it's going to help you out more. Okay.
All right, now this time, I ain't gonna lie, it's time to really get into it. It's time to really get into it. I mean, I just wanted to give him a little intro on that and let him know, certain things about being this lawyer. And going from James Bonner to James Bond. You know what I'm saying? And let's just talk about your last homicide case. Your last homicide case, you represented, what was his name?
Quavo Morales.
Quavo Morales. All right, so Quavo was, how long was he locked up when you got the case?
When I got the case, I believe he had been in for about maybe 3.5 years at that point, I think.
Right.
Yeah, he'd been in for a long time. His case was a COVID case that had some serious delays because of COVID, and that feels like, a lifetime ago.
Right.
But he had been in for a long time when I got the case.
Okay. So when you got the case, it was how many lawyers before you?
He had a lawyer that handled his preliminary hearing, and they did a motion for him early. And then there was a second lawyer that came on, and that lawyer was on the case for quite a while until I was on the case. So I was the third one on.
Okay, so now you the third lawyer on, right? So you got two different strategies before your strategy?
Well, only one lawyer litigated any facts of the case, the lawyer that did the preliminary hearing.
Okay.
So, the second lawyer, they didn't have any sort of testimony or anything like that. I don't know what that lawyer's strategy would have been at trial.
Right.
Okay. They did a lot of work to try and get DeQuay a better plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first lawyer litigated his preliminary hearing and filed a motion and was heard on the motion. I would say that strategy was sort of more, that was actual trial strategy that was implemented there. The second lawyer, they didn't do any litigating, so we didn't really get to see what their strategy, quote unquote, would have been. And I didn't really discuss with that lawyer what the strategy would have been at trial.
So how you feel when you get this case knowing that you got two different lawyers that was on it, two different strategies, it's all over the place, it's right there laid in your lap, you had to go to work. Like this is when you first went into James Bond mode?
You're always in it. When you walk in the door here, you're always in that mode, right? But when you get a case like that, the case had been around for a long time.
Right.
So number one, I'm like, all right, we got to figure out everything about this case that we need to know, because I want to get this guy's case to trial as quickly as possible. Right. I felt like I didn't know DeQuay at all. Mm-hmm. When they put me on the case, I don't remember if I believe I went and saw him before the first court appearance and just introduced myself. But I looked at the record, and what happened was, it was unfortunate. He was supposed to go to trial, and there was something that popped up that prevented his lawyer from being able to do that, and then that lawyer had to get off the case. So he was almost at the finish line at that point,
right?
As far as going to trial,
right.
So I'm looking at it. He had been in for way too long without getting to trial. Right. So my goal is, all right, let's get everything out on the table here. Let's figure out what we need. Do we have everything that we need so that we can do what we need to do and get this case to trial as quickly as possible? Right. And so what we do is that's the first thing. Taking the inventory of all the discovery, talking to DeQuay about the case, what matters to him. There have been some plea negotiations. The file was pretty substantial at that point, right, because they had done some conferences to try and see if he was willing to take a deal. I know there was all sorts of things that had gone on before me. Right. So I'm just trying to get the lay of the land at that point. Right. Then I go and talk to him. We go in front of the judge. And I think we only did one court appearance, and then they scheduled it for trial pretty much right away. And that was the goal, was to get the trial on the list as quickly as possible. Right. We did that. We started getting familiar. I think I talked to the DA a little bit about trying to do a deal, maybe see if we could get him something better than what had been offered to him at that point. That basically told me no dice. Right. They actually didn't. They said that they didn't like the way that he had conducted himself with the last deal that was offered. They thought he was going to take it. He decided not to. And so they weren't willing to move at all. So from that point on, and it was very brief, period. So then the focus is, okay, we didn't talk to the DA again after that about any sort of plea deal, because we're just going to trial.
Right. And what was that plea deal?
I think they offered him, the last one was 19 to 50 years.
Just be venting when I rap, I wasn't think about no deal. When I rap, this shit like therapy, this shit might give you chill. Dog been sober for a while, he ain't been thinking about no pills. Quavo knew he was beating his body, he wasn't think about no deal.
19 to 50 years.
19 years to 50 years.
All right, so me being, that's my little brother, you feel what I'm saying? And me being the person that was communicating with you about this deal, and and you let me know what they said, what the deal was, and deal. And, you know, we had a big falling out. You know what I'm saying? Man, you went verbally back and forth a long time. You get what I'm saying? And when you listening to what we saying, like as far as you want to go see Quay, and he's letting you know, no, we ain't taking no deal. And then I'm calling, I'm letting you know, like, we ain't taking no deal. Like, we'd rather fight it all the way out before we take this deal, because he's starting his life. He basically would be starting a sentence at a time, whereas though by the time he get done his time, he's sitting there thinking about how he should have took the deal or how much stuff he lost in his life. So it's like, we'd rather take our chances. You get what I'm saying? And just us going back and forth, did it come off as confidence or did it come off as uneducated?
Here's what I think the problem was with where we started.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I talked to you, I think you called the office. I called you back from the car. We didn't do it the right way.
Mm.
And we see this a lot where we're calling maybe, you know, to check in or something like that. And we get asked all the time, how's my case looking? How's my case looking? It's just not as simple as that a lot of times, right? And I don't think that first conversation would have gone the way that it did if you called and said, I want to come down to the office, talk to you about the Quay's case, and we sat at this table and did it.
Right, no doubt.
Be that as it may,
No doubt.
I don't think we'd be sitting here like this if we didn't have those types of, you know, back and forth.
Right.
So
no doubt.
it went the way that it did, that's fine. What you have to understand is that when we were talking, you were really trying to advocate for your boy and say, you know, he can't take this because it's just not right for him. It's not a good fit.
Mm.
He has to make that decision.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I have to make sure it's coming from him as well.
Right.
Right?
100%.
Where you and I came around was at a later conversation.
Mm.
We had another one where I was getting ready for his trial, I believe, when you called me the one time. And what I think we could have done better is sat down and gone through it. Okay, this is the deal. This is the strategy. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
And with me and with a lot of lawyers, you're getting ready for trial. That strategy, you have an idea where you want to go, but we're constantly thinking about what happens at this, what happens at that, what happens at this, what happens at that. And you were at the Quay's trial. There was a lot of things that went different than what we thought it was going to be.
A lot.
So when you're calling off the cuff, or we don't have sort of a schedule where we're saying, all right, let's sit down and talk about this, I need my thoughts to be ready so I can put it to you so that you understand where we're coming from.
Right.
Because a lot of the times I'm thinking about his case when I'm driving home.
Right.
I'm driving down the street. I'm walking to court. I'm sitting in court waiting, especially when you're talking about a murder case.
Mm-hmm.
Murder cases are all consuming with attorneys that really want to put it down and make it happen for their client. Okay. You're never not thinking about that.
Right, no doubt.
In the morning, first thing you get up, you know, I know a lot of lawyers and we either write stuff down on our phone and in the notes, just little things here and there, because these thoughts pop in. We're ready for that. So if you don't know, what I'll tell you is, like, because you said, is it uneducated? I don't think you ever came to me uneducated. Right. I think you came to me to try and advocate for your buddy.
No doubt.
And I fully respect that.
Right. And that's why I respected about our conversation, because we going back and forth for what, 20 minutes to a half hour? That's not normal.
First call was 1 hour and 8 minutes long. 1 hour and 8
That's not normal for a lawyer to give up that time, especially an hour without no money. You get what I'm saying? And so, all right, so we got our 1 hour and 8 minutes. So how was your and DeQuay conversations going out when you gonna go see him?
DeQuay and I, we got along and then we didn't. And then we got along and then we didn't. But we never really didn't get along.
Right.
It was always challenging, not challenging each other, but challenging. He would challenge me to think about things a certain way, and I would challenge him to think about things a certain way.
Right.
And that's fine. Right. That's a good relationship. Okay. These are, I handle these types of cases every single day, but I'm not ever going to pretend like I'm sitting in his seat.
Right.
With that black cloud over my head every single day. I know how the process goes. I know what it takes to do these cases, but I have never been in that position.
Right.
Most of us have not, right?
Right.
Especially the position like he was in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stress. I recognize that. So, you know, we always tried, and I always found DeQuay to be very respectful, despite a difference of opinions. And that's what we have to be at minimum, is you have to be respectful. Can't be cussing each other out. Can't be doing that. That's just not going to be productive for whatever happens with the case. And DeQuay, to his credit, he always listened to what I had to say, and he didn't interrupt. And I always tried to listen to what he had to say, and we went back and forth, and eventually we got there.
Okay.
We got there,
Right.
and then we got there again.
Right.
In the middle of the trial, we got there.
Yeah.
But that was it.
All right, so I'm gonna say this. Do you feel like DeQuay confidence? Matter of fact, let's just bring DeQuay in. Come on, bro. We need to know where your confidence was at, man. And he got your present for you, man.
Thank you.
That one dirty was asking for.
Yep.
Yeah, open it up, man. Open your gift up, man. Show them your gift. What you asked for.
Because what were we doing? Helping
Everybody make it. Yeah. That's all. Show them the stamp you asked for. With this, take them into the courtroom with this one.
It's all about the details.
Right.
You gotta have your details in order. And whether it's because you, and I'm not saying that they did it to be crooked or lying on it, or they just, I think a lot of times they think they just have a great case and they just lose the details. And the details is where we win it.
Yeah, that's where you killed him, man, because all that.
Because all I'm doing is highlighting the details.
Right, yeah.
You know? And, you know, whatever your sentiments are with the police and all that, the fact of the matter is that juries don't want to hear that cops are lying. Everybody wants to believe that the police are doing the right thing. And I believe that, you know, most police do the right thing.
Right.
Some may lose their way here or there, but for the most part, police in general, they're trying to do the right thing. But I think that what they do is they get blinded because they think they have a great case and they lose the details.
Right.
And so what we do is highlight the details that don't add up.
Right.
What you didn't do that people might want to hear. There was a lot of that in this case.
Yeah. Never interviewed him.
They didn't go interview these people. They didn't go check this out, check that out, whatever it might be, you know? And juries, and then we tell the jury, this is what they, you know, wouldn't you want to hear from these people?
Yes.
So it's all about the details, and that's the preparation. That's what you get with lawyers that are trial attorneys and know what they're doing. Okay, it's about the details.
Right.
One, there's not usually like a smoking gun in these cases. In any of these cases, there rarely is. But if you can show these details about discrepancies in this report versus that report, discrepancy versus what's in this report versus what you say on the witness stand, that's showing that maybe you don't have the story as straight as you thought you did.
Right. All right, so what about the DA switching? Let's just get into that before we get into this verdict. And then what about the DA switching? Because the first DA he had was a female by the name of
Miss Moore. Yeah.
Right. And then they took her off the case and they added on the DA.
Curly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's their strategy? What are they trying to do with these things? Like, what is it? Just like because mind you, I'm on point, so I'm doing my homework on her. I'm doing my homework on him. I felt like they didn't want that on her record. Like, I felt like it was too much going on. They didn't want it on her record. You know what I mean? Because of what they was trying to get to go down and ain't go down, and they rather put it on him. I feel like he had to take one for the team. What's up with that?
You think he took one for the team?
It don't matter if he won it or not. He
No,
took it.
you thought that's what he did?
No, I'm saying like as far as like she wasn't gonna win. They know they wasn't gonna win. You know what I mean, I guess I don't know.
I don't know. They felt very strongly about that they had.
I was going to say that
quit.
they really
They felt
felt
very
like they had
strongly.
a case, like at sentencing, like the judge told me, like, you feel me? They really felt like they had a case, bro.
Okay.
You feel me? Like,
So they wasn't worried about. They felt like it wasn't even. They ain't need her. That he could do it.
the jury.
They really thought that they had him rung up.
Okay.
I
Right.
really thought they had a
Did he
case,
all
bro.
know? Yeah.
So whether it was Curly, Moore, anybody in there,
Mhm.
they felt like they had a theory about the case,
Mhm.
and they thought that that's how the case was going to go down.
Right. Okay. No doubt. Okay. Now
I
it's
don't
time
know
to
if it was
right.
caseload or whatever.
Right.
I don't remember if she was.
Cause she was like a 5. She was like her rating was like
She's
4.6,
like third. I think they
4.7.
say she's like the third DA right now.
Yeah, she's a deputy in there, and she does a lot of work, and she tries cases. I don't remember, but she might have been trying another case at the same time as us too.
Right.
And so, their caseload, they may have done it just purely for caseload, but across the board,
Worked in our favor.
they all
Yeah.
thought,
That's it.
they all thought,
That's it.
Lord Moore was drawing, bro.
Yeah. Nah,
She
bro.
was
Right.
really like pressing me, bro. Like,
Right.
she was sending Wanda. That's who was sending Wanda with everything. Was basically
Okay.
her. You feel me?
Okay.
And I used to feel like her and Wanda was just sitting back, like trying to get me out of here, bro. You feel me?
Right. Yeah.
I got to back
They
up.
brought you-
Wanda. I got to back up Wanda though, because I know her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
All right. Not gonna say Wanda's a bad person, not a good lawyer, nothing like that. Cause she actually, like, from people that had her and all that,
Yeah.
it was always
I had
telling me.
Yeah.
He had her at one point
Yeah.
representing him. She's a dog, she do this, but if I ain't never see you argue or nothing,
exactly.
do nothing,
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you
Can't
that.
buy
yet,
in.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like when me and you first met, remember you first came down, I was on what? I was in a hole, 23-1, SMU. Like, you got a lawyer visit. I'm thinking it's Wanda. Mind you, trial supposed to happen that Monday.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I'm like, I'm in a hole.
They
I'm
didn't
telling
know.
my man, no, I'm like, yo, man. Inshallah, man, I get some good news, man, that they wanted to throw the murder out, man. You feel me? Send me the population or something. I go down there. I'm looking for Wanda on the John. I see him. I don't even know. I'm like, yo, I asked the lady where I'm going at. They like, 7. I'm like, man, I ain't my lawyer. They like, that's where to see you. So I'm like, first I don't even know he a lawyer or not. I just see him like, it gotta be like a detective or somebody. Trial when he come up. I go over there. I go over there and sit down. I go over there and sit down, you feel me? So when I walk up, he already see me coming, you feel me? He see me coming, he could greet me and all that. I'm James Bonner. I'm your new attorney. I'm like, oh, that's my head up, you hear me? I'm like, what happened? He like, I think he said Wanda had a medical condition. She gonna be out of work for a little bit. Feel me? And it's crazy because when all this happening, bro, mind you, trial in like 72 hours, bro. Literally, I'm supposed to be picking 12 in 72 hours.
Right.
So I'm thinking like, she had a medical condition, and now she going like off the case. Like he like, yeah, she gonna be down for a minute. So I'm like, all right. So now I'm filling him out. Now all right, let me listen to him, see what he got to say. So now he introduced himself. Yeah, I'm James Bonner. Feel me? I got your case. I think he was on a trip, right? I think he was over Italy or something like that. He told me. He said you was on a plane watching a video or something.
Yeah.
Feel me? Like,
Yeah, I
I
think
got
he
your
come back
joint.
from Florida. Yeah.
So I'm on the joint watching your joint. Got the case. Because that was the first time I talked to him, so
Yeah.
it was stuck in my head. I'm like, hey, tomorrow you on a plane watching a video. I want, mind you, SMU, bro. You ain't got nothing but just time to think.
Right.
No TV, no tablet, no nothing. You just in the cell by yourself 24 hours a day, you feel me? So I'm in that joint, visit go. I go right back to the cell, so now I'm just thinking about everything he just said. But I'm like, this trial was 72 hours away. What could it just like, you feel me?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
now I'm thinking they playing games, bro. You feel me? Because I've been sitting all this time. I keep telling them that I'm ready for trial. They keep coming with deals, telling me do this, time say this. I'm like, man, I'm ready for trial. So when that happened, I'm like, this another game tactic that they got going on. Feel me? But it wound up going for the better. Feel me? Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this verdict, man. let's get into the verdict. Did you ever have any confidence you're gonna get any different verdict? I mean, not confidence, thoughts that you're gonna get a different verdict.
Look, you never know what you're gonna get with them,
Right.
Right. So I'm nervous when that happens every time, right?
Right.
But I'll tell you this: when they went out. They weren't out for that long. They came back with a question. I told him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Why are they asking the question? Why are they asking?" He's going crazy. I'm like, and then it was the question, and it would have been if they were addressing, it had to do with the gun charge.
Oh,
The gun charge was the last one on the verdict slip.
Okay.
So if they're asking a question about that, that says to me that they're done all the other ones, and it had not been that long.
It was
So
60 minutes.
yeah, maybe an hour, and so.
It was quick.
They ask the question, we bring them up, and then I tell them, like, this is the question, we're gonna tell them this. I don't remember what specifically it was. We gave him an answer, the judge gives him an answer, and he's like, man, what are you thinking? I was like, dude, I'll see you in like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
He's
just like that.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I said, they're at the bottom of the sheet. They're at the bottom of the verdict.
We was
slip.
arguing in the basement.
Yeah.
I told when they called it, we was arguing.
We were arguing because there was something else that he thought, went down, and we don't need to get in all that because that was crazy talk. But we were arguing again, and we're down there, and he's like, well, what do you think's happening? I was like, man, we're almost done with this shit, dude. Like, 20 minutes, they're going to be right back. It's verdict time.
We
verdict
arguing,
time,
crazy. It's verdict.
And then as soon as I did it, that face right there, he's like,
what?
He's like, what? I said, yeah, I'll see you up there. And I turned around and walked out.
So I ain't going up there.
I started snapping, bro. I'm like, it ain't been an hour.
So when you heard that first not guilty, did you hear the rest of it in your head, or did you feel like, man, that's just the first one, I ain't getting hyped yet?
No, see, it's crazy, right? Because I knew I wasn't worried about second no more because we aced that like the second day of trial. So it was really, I'm like, all right, what I'm worried about now is first and third. You feel me? The attempt, I wasn't really worried about the attempt because you got to remember, I just sat for 5 years. So I'm like, with no record. So now I'm thinking of it like, all right, if I lose to the attempt, they probably like give me a 10 to 20 or something. You feel me? But once I heard not guilty on the first degree murder, you feel me? It was just like a relief. I don't know if anybody paid attention to me when they was reading the joint, but you feel me? I threw my head to the sky. You feel me? And I just was talking to Allah, bro. Like, I know you with me. You feel me?
Right, no doubt.
Feel me? Then when they came to third and they said not guilty, that's when the terror came down. You feel me, bro? I'm like, dang.
That's hard.
Then when he read the rest of it, I'm like,
when the attempt came not guilty, that's when I just turned to him and we just started shaking our head and smiling. We were just like,
dang. Oh, so what were you feeling when the first degree got read and all that? Wow.
You got it. And then it's like, first, okay, yeah, all right, no life, good. Third, go, okay, attempt murder. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, let's go.
Bro, he walked out the door. He said, what y'all waiting for? We out. He walked right up to me and said, you happy now, motherfucker?
no, they said something like, we good now?
I did.
He like, you good now?
He looks at me and he goes, do I like hug you now or something? I was like, nah.
Yeah, I don't know what to do, bro. I'm like, damn, man.
No, that's a real joke.
Cause like the night before, like it wasn't no sleep, bro. You feel me? Like the whole week, I ain't really get no sleep, bro. You feel me? Like I'm just up in the jail, running around, friends talking to me, like, "Damn, how you feeling?" Like, mind you, I had a close friend from my neighborhood that was down with me around the time that I was going to trial, so he'd be up all night with me, and it's crazy because I never put the law work down, bro, until the case was over, like really over. You feel me?
Right.
The whole cell during the trial was just basically like scattered with this case laws everywhere, paperwork. Right after the trial, I go straight to the jail, bro. Go in the cell, eat my food, probably fall back. I wasn't even really calling. You feel me?
Right.
I might jump around. I might talk to my man, but it's crazy because I'm telling people that's great to go to trial. I'm telling them, yo, come in my cell. Like, you feel me?
Right.
This what's going on in there right now. You're going to need this because this what they talking about. This play the main part. You feel me? So I'm showing, like, when I was leaving, I was giving them case laws and all that, bro. Like, you're going to need this. I'm telling them, I was basically helping them out, bro. Like, giving them inputs about trial and just letting them know, man, fight. You feel me?
Right.
I thought it was over. You feel me? From just sitting days, bro. I used to be thinking, I'm never getting back out there, man. From just sit, but it's never over, bro. You hear me?
It's never over, right. And I ain't gonna lie, man. Like I said to you, You beat this case, man. Like, we in the streets. And what I mean by in the streets is, you know, we made a major turnaround with our life. You know what I'm saying? So it used to be one way, now it's another way. So the way it is now is we're trying to help everybody make it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that's still in the streets, they still in tune with us like we in tune with them. As far as like trusting our words. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said to you, if you beat this case, I'm gonna put it out there that this is the guy to get. You know what I mean? If you trying to come home, if you in a situation. And I'm saying all that to say, I walked in today with a client. You know what I'm saying? I walked in here today with a client for him. You feel me? Because we going to honor our side. You know what I'm saying? He honor his side. We going to honor our side. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as it's doing over with, we will discuss that situation. And the money is here. You know what I'm saying? The money is here. And hopefully we can be back here with that person there.
A lot more people sitting in the chair.
There you go. A lot more people sitting in the chair. He said it best, man. He gonna get in James Bond mood again, man. I like that though, man. Just from me to you, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everything.
Best lawyer in Delaware County, man. Real rap, man. I keep telling everybody that, man. James Bond took the #1 spot, man. Delaware County, man. Real rap, bro.
Hey, man. So you know. We appreciate y'all, man. James Bond, man, get with him, man. Call him, man. Get the results, man. You know what I'm saying? Sit there. You see how clean he is? Look how clean he look, man. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
Every day. Every day.
He told every day.
For the guys, man. Y'all niggas been holding it down, man. Niggas going at y'all. No bitching, no complaining. Feet up, man. Niggas do their time, come right the fuck back out here, man. Still on gangsta shit, man. Welcome home, Quavo, man. 10 toes, man, just be the fucking body, you hear me? Still in front of them white folks, man. Beat that shit, you hear me? Real rap. Try to make bro 4, he said 5 years out the county for that shit, man. Real rap. Nigga, back out this motherfucker, man. Like, it's a shit like, that's just what's going on in our lifestyle, you hear me? Like, tripping. All solid niggas, man. All real niggas. Niggas gonna take what come with this shit. No bitching.